Hi, I'm Bob Weir with another interview of candidates running for office in local elections, which take place on May 6th. My guest today is Mindy Bumgarner, running for place 6 on the board of Louisville Independent School District. Thank you for being here, Mindy.
Thank you for having me.
Since we have your bio on the written portion, I'll get right into the questions. What do you think are the most significant issues facing LISD going forward?
So I think LISD, we have an issue with transparency, and that transparency isn't just with the budget in the school, but also with our education. And that's a very crucial part right now, and parents need to start to get a voice with that and be heard, because thanks to the pandemic, we got an eye into our children's curriculum, and a lot of the parents aren't too happy right now.
Yeah. Is that an area of improvement, I suppose, in LISD transparency?
That could be a transparency, but also being able to adjust the curriculum to where we're focusing on our core subjects and really removing a bunch of the political agenda that's coming into our schools, because our children need a proper education.
And I guess a lot of the students fell behind during the pandemic, right?
Absolutely. That became a major issue because a lot of times children were learning purely off the iPads, YouTube videos, and we didn't have a teacher really being able to patrol that classroom and make sure the child was doing the work and a parent wasn't doing it, and also making sure the children were learning, because not every child learns the exact same way. So we need to really focus on different ways to help. That's why our teachers are so crucial.
Really, yeah. Well, teachers are extremely crucial to the whole civilization. Is LISD helping them to catch up after the loss of education? Is that what?
They are in a lot of ways. So tutoring is offered more so than it was before. However, we're talking about a large amount of population of students that actually fell behind. We're not just talking our high school, our middle school, our elementary, and we even have children in kindergarten that lost a good year of socialization and being able to learn their basics to be able to build up. So we're looking at a long-term issue with our students of having to try to get back to where we were.
And there are about 50,000 students.
There are, it's right under 50,000 students, and that is a very large number whenever you look at, we do not have enough teachers. We are on a high issue with our teacher turnaround, and we're putting more and more work on them, but we're not supporting them.
And how is a student's education level assessed? Do they do SAT?
They do SAT whenever they're older.
Yeah.
STAR testing is used kind of as the gold standard right now to see if the children are actually at the level they need to be at. So if they've met criteria, if they've mastered it, or for some of our children, they're not in that range. So we know where we're really having some difficulties. And we're noticing more and more difficulties in our mathematics and also our reading.
Yeah. And the primary subjects, if I go back to when I was in ancient history, when I went to school, the primary subjects we had math and history and geography and English and economics and things of that nature. I suppose those are still primary subjects in the school?
Those are still primary subjects. However, our teachers are having to become more parents almost. They feel like they're being forced to teach children how to be nice to each other, how to regulate themselves emotionally, but also a bit of a social agenda has come in. So that has made it to where a large portion of our teachers' day, about 40% of their class time, is taking over that. So I can imagine if I lose 40% of my day, I'm not going to have time to do all that additional reading, the writing, the arithmetics, history, science, and catching up with the issues from the pandemic.
And that's where the students lose part of their education, because that's a high percentage. Along those lines, should sexual orientation, gender identity, and transsexual issues be taught in school?
I do not think that should be taught in school. I think that should be something that is discussed in your home and also discussed with professionals in those areas, like psychologists like I am, to be able to understand if there's confusion going on with that child, what's really happening. That needs to be taken at a personal level. That's not done at a global level.
Right. And I would imagine the same thing goes for the teaching of critical race theory.
Absolutely. So I have a major issue with critical race theory. We are weaponizing our children, but not only weaponizing them against each other, but we're weaponizing them against their past and their history, everything that made these children have the freedoms that they have. And it's starting to alter even their views of history because we're getting a watered down version that's not really helping.
Sure, because it's not like we're not teaching history. When I went to school, we knew about history, and we knew about slavery and the Civil War and all the issues involved in, and after, I mean, we all learned that. So it's not that we're not continuing to teach that, that's part of history. It's just there are some radical theories being pushed in the education system, and that's what I think we have to be aware of. Let's move on to school bullying. That's often a topic. How does LISD deal with that, do you know?
So school bullying right now is kind of on a self-reported basis. So either the student reports it, another student reports it, or a teacher. Now, I wish I could say it's always addressed. It's really not always addressed. A lot of times this falls between the cracks for our counselors, and it's caused more and more difficulties. However, the biggest piece here is a student should not be bullied at school. This is a place for education. There's a place for a safe place for them to learn. If they're being bullied, they're not able to focus on that. So we need to address it a little bit better with behavioral modification plans, so having expectations and consequences for individuals that are doing the bullying, and also being able to get those counselors in to help the individuals that are being bullied.
Sure, because bullying can severely inhibit a child's education.
Absolutely.
They have to worry about that every day. They go in and have bullies to deal with. That's very important. That's addressed. How about, should parents have the right to decide what their kids are taught in schools?
Absolutely, 100%. I think we need to have our parents have that voice. And a beautiful thing of our school district currently is you can opt out of particular things being taught if you were uncomfortable with it. It's a bit of a process, but I think our parents need to have more of a voice with our school board, more of a voice with our teachers of saying whenever they think something is overstepping a line.
And do you have children attending LSD?
Yes, I do. I have a 14-year-old daughter that's at Flower Mound High School.
Oh, okay, right. You know, just as a point of information, that the amount of schools there's a lot of schools, and we have 7,500 employees in LISD, and the budget is somewhere around 600 million, I think.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's a big district.
It's a big district and a big budget, and we're looking at a bond election coming up. So more money coming in, but also we're looking at maintaining buildings, and one of the big issues that came up was they used the last bond for a technology package. It assisted us through pandemic, but it also hurt us. And one of the things I'm pushing for is bringing back paper materials to our classrooms, because our children are having more headaches from being on these iPads for longer, and the anxiety's raising. They're coming home exhausted from staring at a screen for 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
I even have teenagers telling me, we need a paper book. I don't want to stare at that screen.
Yeah, right. Old-fashioned teaching. How do you feel about the campaign so far? Have you run for office before?
I have not run for office before. My husband has, so a lot of people recognize the last name.
Ben?
Yes, and I have been by his side while he did a town race and while he did the state race.
Well, that's good experience.
I got some good experience in the back of everything.
Sure, he was on the Flower Mound Council and now House Representative. So what type of campaigning are you doing?
So I am big on talking to anyone and everyone I can. I've talked to about 150 teachers so far. I have been going to people's homes and talking to them, their HOAs. I'm trying to get out and talk to people as much as possible, block walking as much as possible, because the reality is you got to be able to talk to our constituents and hear their voice of what's going on. And I also try to show up at every event I possibly can for LISD to talk to our parents and hear their concerns and also their praises.
Yeah, there's nothing like face-to-face. When people meet the candidate, they tend to remember, and they respect the fact that you took the time to go meet them too. So if somebody says who are you going to vote for, they say, well, you know, I met Mindy, you know, and she came around, and so then, you know, you tend to get that vote. So we're about to be grabbed by the clock. It goes so fast. Is there anything you'd like to add before we close?
I would like to say, please have your voices heard. So talk to me, talk to other candidates out there. I'm easy to find on Facebook with Bumgarner for LISD or MindyBumgarner.com. And my phone number is on there. Please call me. I will happily answer any questions. I want to hear your praises, but also your concerns.
Well, I want to thank you, Mindy, for being here, and good luck in the election.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you for watching.